Hey, Lois.
Hey,
I'm glad to be on here today. I'm excited to learn a little bit more.
you bet. Yeah, I'm excited to share this. I think that this gives us a process that is simple. It's work, but it is a process so that we don't sit down and go, who am I going to talk to today? I just don't even know who I'm going to talk to. So then we spend all of our work time trying to figure out who we're going to talk to and not really ever get anything done.
Yeah. Well, and I had made my list and I kind of feel like I've worked through people and now I'm like, okay, I called my mom, my sister, I've talked to a few people at church. And so how do I tell people about Singular?
Yeah, gotcha. So this is going to be very simplistic in the methodology. Okay. Like I said, it's not easy in that you do have to make yourself work, right? But it's simplistic in the methodology. So I'm going to give you a little glimpse of what my book looks like. So I'm going to be talking about my book and I'm going to go through with you the 7 steps. And I think that you're going to find that this is easy enough for anybody to do. Okay. So are you able to kind of see my book and what it looks like?
Yeah, it looks like there's a names and then there's 7 columns.
That's right. So what I've been doing, this is just a plain Jane, spiral notebook and I like the wide rule, but I have 25 numbers down the side and 25 names. And then I just took a little preschool ruler and I went through and made 7 columns. So going across, if you want to make a little sheet like this, the first column title is 3, the next one's 3, the next one's 3, and then B as in boy, A is in apple, T is in time, M is in Mary. Okay, so 3, 3, 3, and then BATM. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what each of those columns stands for and what you actually do to check off that column. Okay. So one of the great things about this methodology is that you can put people on your list that you know from church, that you know from high school, that you know from anything you're involved in, or they can be friends that you legitimately have only met on Facebook. And that's what we're going to work through. So what I would ask is that you take a little bit of time to do what Jan Berg calls reconnaissance, and you figure out who your 25 people are going to be to start the week. Okay. Now, in a normal 5-day work week, you're going to reach out to 5 people a day. Okay. So 5 Monday, 5 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's why I have 25 people. The first 5 are Monday, the second are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. So I already know that I'm going to reach out to these 25 people to interact with them, to build the relationship with them so that I can then invite them to take a look at the Singular partner opportunity. So we're just going to walk through what I would do on Monday. Okay. So Monday, it's time to work. I already have my list. I sit down with my first 5, number 1 through 5, and the goal is to get into their world. Okay. So I have that written up here at the top to remind myself that my goal is to get into their world. So the first one on my list is Elise, and I'm going to go on to Elise's Facebook. And there's 2 different ways to do it, but I'm going to tell you what I typically do first. So I typically go to their feed. Okay. I have found that I can go through them faster if I start with their feed. But what I want you to know is that many others, they start with going to their story first. Okay. But I'm going to go to their feed. So the first one on my list is Elise. So I'm going to go to Elise's feed, and I'm looking for 3 posts that I can like and comment on. Okay. So let's say I get to Elise's feed. I'm going through there. I find one. I like it, and do both for the algorithm. I'm going to like it or love it. And then I'm going to comment. And for example, on Elise, I said, those are beautiful pictures. Where are y'all at? Okay. So that's one. And then the next one, I'm going to go down and I'm going to say, amen to something that she said. So I'm going to like it and say amen. Then I'm going to find a third one and I'm going to like or love and comment. Now I've done the first of the threes because I did 3 likes and comments on Elise's post. Now I'm going to go to Elise's story and I'm going to find something on her story that I can like or love. And then I'm going to comment and hopefully ask a question. Now, when you're in her story and you comment and ask a question, it's going to show up in where? Messenger. So now you're in a conversation in Messenger. The beauty of that is when you're talking back and forth, when I'm talking to Elise in Messenger, what's going to happen? I'm going to show up in her feed because Facebook believes that we're in a relationship or we're doing something together or we're on a trip or we're somehow truly connected. So the 3 of the 333 is three likes and comments on their feed, 3 likes and comments with a question on their story, and you're going to do that 3 days in a row.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and tell you, you're going to feel a little bit like a stalker when you go to Elise's page 3, and you're going to comment on 3 things in 3 stories, 3 days in a row. It's going to be like, oh my goodness. She probably thinks that I'm, stalking her page. But the beauty of that is she is going to be familiar with your name. Mm-hmm. And more than likely, she's going to go check out your feed to figure out who is this person, that keeps liking all my stuff and loving on all my posts and my stories and things. So the way this process works, you do that 3 days in a row. And then the B stands for Band-Aid. And it's what we have been referring to as rip the Band-Aid. Now, the benefit of that is nobody wants to spend, 2 weeks, a month commenting and building like a fake relationship, only to know that you're going to then ask if they are interested in taking a look at your business opportunity or your products. But in 3 days, it doesn't feel icky because you're spending 3 days kind of building the relationship, getting to know them, they're getting to know a little bit about you. But then you go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and you tell them or you ask them what you want to ask. And I feel like that's so much better than being in this long, drawn out situation where they're going to then go, well, we've been talking all this time and that wasn't genuine. She just wanted to ask me if I wanted to look at her business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's, I think, why this methodology is a little bit more palatable for us to start a relationship. Okay, so in this situation, Monday, I come up, Elise is on my first 5, so that's people for Monday. So I'm messaging Elise, commenting on her stuff. I do that Monday. I come back on Tuesday and I do the same thing again. I come back on Wednesday and I do the same thing again. That's why I have a check mark on all 3. So then I can either, and here's an option for you, I can either rip the Band-Aid off on Wednesday when I've done the 3 days in a row, which Wednesday's day 3rd in this scenario. I can either rip the Band-Aid off that day and go ahead and send the message, and I'm going to tell you what it is and everything. Or some people wait till the next day, which is day 4. And then they do the rip the Band-Aid off message. Okay. So,
and really, this is just on 5 people.
That's just 5 people. So, but what I want you to understand, it's only 5 people Monday because you do 5 people on Monday, they're day 1. Mm-hmm. Then on Tuesday, you have 5 new people on day 1 and you have 5 people on day 2. Okay. Then on Wednesday, 5 people day 1, 5 people day 2, and 5 people day 3.
Okay, so you really got to keep track.
You do. And this is a really simple way to do it. It's so easy. I just sit down and go, okay, who doesn't have a check mark? Boom, boom, boom. So it really is, you really do need to keep track of it. And I think that's really important. but it's really a 3 to 4 day process if they don't respond. Okay. It's a 3 to 4 day process if they don't respond. But if they do, then we have this ATM that we're going to talk about next. Okay. You have any questions about that so far?
If they don't have new information, so like, if they haven't posted anything the second day, what do I do?
Yeah, that's been a hard thing for me because I'm very like meticulous and I like everything to, I want it to be 3, 3, 3, 3. That has been hard. And then that same type of question, same principle, sometimes they don't post in their stories. Right. So I will tell you that in this process, like number 2 on my list for Monday, I decided that I was going to continue the process, but that the rip the Band-Aid off was going to be for product, not business, because I saw some things over, being on her feed 3 days in a row that it didn't really jive. I didn't think she'd be a good fit for my team as a business partner. Mm-hmm. So I decided in that process that I'm still going to finish the 333 B ATM, but that ripped the Band-Aid off. The message is not going to be about looking at the business. It's going to be looking at the product. And that may happen to you, but there has definitely been a situation, and she's one of them, that she doesn't really post. She just shares things, shares things, and it's not consistent. Some of them are not, and this is of course just an opinion. Everybody has different opinions, but some of the things in my opinion weren't in very good taste. So I'm like, we don't jive all that well. And so there were just some things that might be offensive to some people. So I decided I'll go ahead and reach out for the product, but not as a business builder. But when that happens, you got to, keep kind of digging for a little while, and maybe you can find something if you keep digging, but certainly it might be uncomfortable if you're like commenting on stuff from like, December. That might be a little weird. So
what's bad if people just are sharing things? What does that mean?
Say that again.
Like, what's bad if people are just sharing things on their feed? What's that usually mean?
Yeah, usually that means that they don't do any content of their own. So people aren't going to really follow them. People don't typically follow someone that just shares other content, and it also doesn't really put their stuff in somebody's feed to see, because it doesn't work with the algorithms. The Facebook algorithms, social media algorithms, they want people to present their own content, new content, or personal content. And if they're not doing that, then it makes it a little bit harder to be seen. And if you're not getting seen on social media, it's harder to then get, attract eyeballs on what you're trying to accomplish. But see, the same thing can happen with stories. Some people post on their feed, but they don't post on stories, or they don't post on stories every day. So those are things, honestly, because I'm in week 3, that I'm still trying to work out. I'm still trying to work those things out. But when you make your initial list, if you will be a little bit cognizant of those things, are they posting? Are they just sharing stuff? Are they doing stories? And even I am sometimes not consistent in, like, I don't even know if I've done a story today. Maybe I did. I don't remember. The one I'm thinking of, it could have been today. It could have been yesterday. It's been a busy, busy day. So I don't mark somebody off because, they missed a day. They didn't do a story today. Because maybe when I'm doing this work, they just haven't posted a story yet. Maybe they're going to post one a little bit later when I'm already done and I don't see it. But best you can, you're trying to get into their world. You're trying to like and comment, get them talking to you, answering questions. And that's what this is really about, is building the relationship for 3 days. And then either that 3rd day or on the 4th, you rip the Band-Aid off. Any other questions that you can think of?
No, not right now.
Okay, so let me share with you the message and what the rip the Band-Aid message is. Now, it doesn't mean you can't write your own message. Certainly be you, but I'm going to give you an example of the Rip the Band-Aid. I'm going to give you an example of that just so that you'll, kind of know what this is all about. When I sat down with my book, I actually have a big card, like a note card, but it's a really like extra large one. And I wrote down my Rip the Band-Aid message. I'm not seeing it right here, so let me just go and grab one. And I can give you just an example of what one might look like. So the funny thing about this message, and something that I really like, is you're just really upfront with them in the beginning. Okay. So for example, this is the first thing you say. And again, this can be on day 3 or day 4. You may have felt like I've been stalking your page lately with all the likes and comments. You just say that up front, get it out in the open. I promise I'm not a weirdo. I just love what you post about your mom life, the spiritual encouragement, and your humor. I think Facebook has put your stuff in my feed the last couple of days, probably because I've been liking and commenting on some of your stuff. I wanted to ask you if you've ever thought about how you could create another stream of income by posting on your wall. Are you open to hearing how I make 100% of my income through an affiliate link? If not, no worries, but I think you'd be awesome to work with. That's it. That's
Okay.
your Rip the Band-Aid off. If it's somebody that I really know, not just somebody I've been getting to know on Facebook, I might make it a little bit more personal. For example, on this one, I said at the very least, please know, I think you're awesome.
Yeah.
Because what I'm trying to put out there is, this may not be for you, and that's okay. But I'm asking, think you'd be great, but at the very least, I think you're awesome. Hopefully that way nobody will be offended, right?
Yeah.
But until you are kind of interacting with their stuff for those 3 days, you don't really know if they'd be a good fit or not. So I like the methodology. So that's the 333 and the Rip the Band-Aid. So either they're going to respond yes, and then I'll talk with you about what we do next. They're going to say no, or they're going to not respond at all. Those are the things that are going to happen. But our numbers tell us that out of about 10 Band-Aids or 10 Band-Aid messages, about 3 are going to say sure. So it's just a numbers game. So if you want 3, then, you may have to reach out. You may have to try to connect with 100 people so that 10 actually are talking to you and 3 actually say yes. It's just a numbers game. But this way, when you sit down, you know who you're going to talk to that day. And that's half the battle, is knowing who you're going to talk to and having a plan and sitting down prepared with that plan.
Right.
Okay. So just keep in mind that as you start, this thing builds on each other, right? Because you've got 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5, and that's just week 1. You go into week 2, you're still doing the 333 ATM on those first 25. So it really starts to build. But the whole point of this is for you to get your funnel filled and to have people to talk to fill your funnel.
So if I only have like 300 or 400 friends, I'm going to have to add more friends.
Maybe so. Maybe you need to add more friends, and that can be some part of your daily work in prospecting, is to add more friends. But they don't just have to be Facebook friends either. I mean, you could go, oh, I know Melissa Corvin. I remember her. I'm going to go add her as a friend. Or, you could just start talking to her on your phone and then ask the question. But this is mainly for how to reach people through social media and through messaging.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
You think you could do that?
Probably. I think keeping up with it's going to be the biggest thing. Writing it down.
Well, when you have all your names to start with and all you have to go is do it and do a check mark, it really does kind of make it easy. And then once you become a little bit more tenured, you probably hear people saying, oh, I use Teamzy. So when you're brand new, like you are right now, you don't need to worry about it, right? But whenever you become more tenured, a lot of people use a contact software called Teamzy, which I love Teamzy. But one of the problems I had is I was trying to put anyone that could ever in the history of ever be a prospect. And that was really overwhelming. But with this, they don't go into Teamsy until they come back and say yes after the rip the Band-Aid off. Or, I mean, it is possible they could come back and say, no, but not right now. And I'd go ahead and put them in Teamsy to keep track of them. But all of these, like right now, because I'm on week 3, I've got 60 names so far. Those 60 aren't going in Teamsy. Only the ones that say yes, they're going to take a look.
Okay. And out of the, like, so if somebody comes back and does say no, what are you doing with them then? Are you unfriending them?
I am not. But again, to me, that's a little icky. If I do this and I'm building a relationship with them and they say, no thanks or not right now, I'm keeping them on the board. I did get, like I've got 2 right now that have not responded to me at all. And I still have them on my list, and I've gone in and I've did like 1 comment. I'm not still doing the 333, but I didn't want to be icky and go, oh, well, now she's not interested in my business. So I'm not even going to comment on her stuff anymore. Facebook's still showing me her stuff. So like, I've commented anyway. So I didn't just go, boom, I don't care about you because you're not interested in my business. I'm no longer going to be your friend. Now, if I find through what I'm doing here that someone I don't think it'd be a good fit as a customer or as a business prospect, I have unfriended, but it's been very, very, very few. Because I still want to be social with them, so it doesn't look like I'm just totally a jerk. And they didn't respond, so I quit talking to them. So I have not unfriended them just for that. And there's a possibility things might come back around. Maybe timing wasn't good. So do you want to go ahead and talk about what happens if they say yes?
Yes.
Okay. So they come back and they say, sure, which is usually what the response is. If someone's going to respond affirmatively, they come back and say, sure. So then I immediately go and invite them to my business testimonial page. Okay. So you're going to invite to the business testimonial page and then check that off as A. So the A stands for add. I use the terminology invite because that makes more sense to a new person, that you can't just add them to the page. Really what you can do now through Facebook is you can invite them, but they have the opportunity to say yes or no to the invitation. So the A stands for add or invite. So then I check it off that I've invited them. Then I send them a message that says, I've invited you to this group. I hope you'll check it out. That's all I say. And that's a message just between me to them. Okay. Once they accept the invitation to the page, the next thing I do is I go to the welcome video and I tag them on the welcome video, go over to my book, and I check off under the T column for that person. Okay. Right. And then I will tell them, thanks for accepting the invitation. I tagged you in the video. Take a look. Tomorrow, I'm going to set up a messenger chat with me and you and some of my business partners. I'm going to take care of that tomorrow. I don't ask, just tell them what I'm going to do. And that would be the part where I would add maybe my upline, maybe a sideline, maybe a downline, but maybe 2 or 3 people in a messenger chat, because that's the M in that last column. And that's what we want to get to. We want to get to where it's checked all the way across. We've done our 333 3 days in a row. We rip the Band-Aid off. They say, sure. We invite them to the page. We send them a message saying, I've invited you to the page. We tag them in the video on that business testimonial page. And then we tell them, tomorrow, I'm going to set up a messenger chat with me and you and some of my partners. And they're going to share with you their story. I want you to see how awesome our community is and how we all work together. That's it. That's the whole system.
And in the messenger chat, they're just kind of going to share stories. It's not going to be like a high pressure sale. Like
there actually is no even closing the people that are messaging with you, the friends you add, all they're doing is they are just dropping their business story and being friendly. Hey, Melissa, I'm so glad that you are interested in some information on our team. Cheryl tells me that you are really outgoing, that you're a great mom, that she really loves all the positivity that you put out on social media. And I just wanted to share with you, why I became a partner with Singular. Give my short story. I'm done. Then the next person comes in and does their story. And then the next one kind of comes in and does their story. And that's it. We're done. Then Cheryl will come back in and say, thanks, y'all. Thanks so much for sharing, your business testimonies, why you love Singular, with Melissa, what it's done for you. And then there's one of two options. She can either say, Melissa, what did you like the most about what you've seen and heard so far? Or she can go just Cheryl and Melissa, just one-on-one, not in the chat with other people. But the thing that to me is really brilliant about this is that you have exposed them. You put their eyeballs on your testimonial page for business. They've already heard the welcome video. Then they're going to continue to see testimonials there. And they've heard real live testimonials in the small intimate group of the chat. So they've already heard a lot. And then you're asking them, what did you see or hear that you really liked or that really resonated with you? So you see, we've already got all this community and excitement going. So I think it's awesome. And as I said, that's the point that you would go into Teamsy. And then I'm going to do a 24-hour follow-up with you, 48, 1 week, just like we've always done.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
It does make sense. So now that you've got 60 people on your list and you're kind of at different stages with people, how many hours a day are you allotting?
Okay. So what we've been doing is we've been trying to get it done in 1 hour a day. And if you sit down and you just hammer it out, you don't overthink it, you just go boom, 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 boom. The hardest part for me is not to overthink it on the rip the Band-Aid, but just to do it. But really, I have so far, I've been able to get this piece of it done in an hour.
Okay? Wow, even as your list grows.
Even as the list grows, because, once you've done the rip the Band-Aid off, like 2 weeks ago, those 25 people, not all 25 are responding. So you're not still doing those, so it's cyclical. So they're going in and then some are coming out the bottom of the funnel, and we're actively working and doing messages and putting them in Teamsy, but some of them are now just sitting out there, but they know what it's about. I mean, they know that the opportunity is there, even like the one that I was talking to you about from yesterday, she's still not responded, but she's read it. So she knows now that opportunity exists, even if she's not ready to respond and ask for details or hear about it right now.
Okay. So then let me ask you another question. You mentioned that as you're doing these messages and stuff, that after somebody kind of sees you interacting, they're going to go look at my feed. So what should my Facebook page look like?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So number one, be authentic. It is the number one thing that people are looking for right now is authenticity. So be authentically you and have a good mixture on your page of your life. They want to feel like they get to know you from seeing your Facebook post. So put things about your life, and it is okay to put some things about Singular, but that can't be predominantly what you're doing. So what I was taught when I started is that about 80% of what you post needs to be things that are important to you or value that you can add. You might share things that are valuable to people, things that help other people in their life, things that you're passionate about. Share things about your family, things that y'all do in your spare time. And then about 15 to 20% of the time, even maybe 10%, depend on how much of your family and things you share. Maybe put a before and after maybe talk about like we just got back from a trip. So maybe have some things about the community and how we travel together and how much fun we have together, things like that. So when they go to your page, they're also checking you out, just like you were checking them out. They're also checking you out, and they're trying to see, does this look like a person I'd want to work with? Are they capable? Are they positive? Do I like them? We are taught that people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. They can feel like they know you if you put things that about yourself on your page. And are they going to like you, and are they going to trust you? So
that's why it's important not to just to share a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, because they really can't get to know you if all you're doing is sharing. And the other thing too is, be smart about things like, maybe political things that you really are passionate about. You want to be smart about this because, at the end of the day, we're trying to grow a business, and just be smart about that. There's, people don't want a lot of dogma. They're not going to feel comfortable if they feel like that you are going to, be sharing or spewing a lot of dogma all the time. So
right.
Those are just some tips that I would say are important.
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions?
When you come across somebody that you really do know, is it harder to actually message them and rip the Band-Aid off?
It is for me. I don't know if it is for everyone. I think that you probably get better results when you're messaging people that you already know, because, they're going to not want to ghost you. Although I will tell you, somebody that I really want on my team, I did the 333. I ripped the Band-Aid off. I go to church with her. She'd be great. She's never responded. She's never responded. And I was like, oh, it's harder for me. I don't know why. I don't have any trouble doing the rip the Band-Aid off and doing all this with people that I don't truly know very well. Like, they're not in my life in any way, because they're already not in my life. So if they never speak to me again, not that that's going to happen, but even if they didn't ever want to, be comfortable around me because they don't want me to ask again or whatever, it wouldn't affect my life, because they're not really in my life anyway. But it is harder. It is harder for me personally. But I think at the very least, people should be flattered. If you do the rip the Band-Aid off the right way, where you are telling them, you might have thought I'm stalking you. I promise I'm not a weirdo, but I just love about you. And then, have you ever thought about earning income from posting on your page? Would you be interested in hearing how I do that? At the very least, most people should be flattered that you saw the positive things in them and you called out those positive things. So I think it's a really good way to do it. And we, at the end of the day, we got to fill our funnel. We have got to be talking to more people. We've got to be asking people. And I'm really excited. One of my downline, she's been doing this with me. We started together. We're on week 3. We had the 333. Somebody said yes. We set up a face-to-face meeting because she's local. We met with her yesterday and signed her up as a partner, and I think she's going to be great.
Wow.
So that's really exciting.
Yeah. So what about, since you're doing this through a testimonial group on Facebook, is there any way to do anything through Instagram that you know of?
I could not speak to that. I don't know Instagram very well. It's not the platform that my demographic is really in. So I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. But you probably could do the similar messages to people on Instagram. You just wouldn't necessarily do the ATM. You just try to get them on a call or something.
You could try to get them on a call. That would be awesome. Your rip the Band-Aid off, if they say sure, would be trying to get them on a 3-way call. And I guess also you could, because most everybody's on Facebook. Even like my son, who long ago left Facebook. That was never really the young people platform, but they still have it. Because so much happens through Facebook. So I guess in Instagram, you could even do the rip the Band-Aid off in an Instagram DM and then invite them to a Facebook page and put the link in their Instagram DM that says, I've invited you to this page. Because most of us have a business page that you can actually click the link and go to that welcome video on the business page once you're, invited and that so that you can join.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Okay. Well, this
We'll
is
give it a try. Give it
Yeah.
a try. See what you think. And then if you have any questions, just let me know. I certainly am not the instigator of this. I learned this system a long time ago, but I never really embraced it. Or are you still there? I got to call real quick. I learned it, but I never really embraced it. And I never really, just dug into it. But then I've noticed that other people, like I said, Jan Berg, she was on Room at the Top, and I reached out to her and she was very gracious and got on the phone and shared with me. And then Cora Hoffman has been utilizing this method to start, really getting into conversations and filling her funnel. And she has even started a work time. And right now it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9 a.m. Central. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 a.m. Central. And she does some training about the first 30 minutes and then an hour of actually doing the work. And that's been really good. And they're experts. They've been doing it. I'm just somebody that's following and learning, but they're really the experts and have been really utilizing this and are having phenomenal results.
Okay.
So
good to know. Well, thank you so much for spending the time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope that's helpful. Let me know if I can do anything more for you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Good luck. Bye.